What's up? It's Andy here from Namaste Lane, and today I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious, extra crispy roast potatoes that you've ever had. Today I'm making 4 potatoes, and you can add a potato or you can take a potato out, depending on how many portions you want. But today, 4 large russet potatoes. I'm using russet because they're going to be extra crispy on the outside, but fluffier on the inside. You can use Yukon Gold potatoes because they'll be a little less crispy on the outside, however they'll be creamier on the inside. But today we're using russet. So I'm going to start with a large pot like this. I'm going to fill it with approximately 10 cups of water. Okay, so first thing we'll do, we'll take our pot, we're going to put it on the stove. The next thing we're going to do is peel our potatoes. We want to get about 90% of the skin off. Now we're going to cut our potatoes, and this is an important part. You want to cut them at the right size to allow them to be crispy on the outside and still nice and fluffy on the inside. We're going to cut these potatoes, particular size. We're going to cut them lengthwise like this. Roughly this thick on the side. So we'll cut it like that. You don't want to cut them too small because you need the outside to be crispy and the inside to be nice and fluffy. So this is about the perfect size, so we can cook it on either side to allow all the outsides to be perfectly crispy, but yet the inside to still have a nice fluffy interior. When you're about halfway to about 3/4 done cutting the potatoes, we're gonna go ahead and turn our burner on so that our pot can start boiling. So we're gonna turn our burner on to about 6 or 7, 3/4 heat. So now that we have our potatoes cut up, now we need to get our fat marinade ready. I'm gonna use olive oil today. It's a little bit on the healthier side. It's gonna get that beautiful golden glow, but we could always use butter or duck fat or goose fat, and that's gonna give you a sweeter crisp. All right, so next thing we do here, we're gonna take our pan. I'm gonna use roughly 8 tablespoons of olive oil. Don't be shy on the olive oil. It doesn't hurt to use more. And we're gonna use about 1 tablespoon of garlic. The beauty of cooking is that you can use whatever flavors you like. You can use more garlic, less garlic, or you don't have to use any. It's up to you. That's the most beautiful thing about cooking. The next ingredient we're gonna use is delicious rosemary. I'm gonna use about 2 pieces of rosemary here. We're gonna cut this up finely. Wow, the rosemary is just so delicious. Absolutely delicious. I love the smell. It's one of my favorite herbs. I'm gonna take this rosemary, I'm gonna put it in. And we're not gonna start cooking this until the potatoes are roughly 4 to 5 minutes away from finished parboiling. We're gonna use the same pot and we're gonna cut down on our dishes. So once the water comes to a boil, we're gonna add in our baking soda and salt mixture. So I always mix it in a bowl just to avoid accidentally spilling too much into the pot. So we're gonna mix it up dry first, and we're gonna throw it in. Once you do throw that in, give it a quick stir, just to make sure everything's stirred up completely nice. Make sure the water is completely boiling, then we're gonna throw our potatoes in the pot. There they are in there, looking beautiful. Give them a quick stir. Make sure there's enough water. And we're gonna set a 10-minute timer. And we're not gonna turn our pan with the rosemary, olive oil, and garlic on yet, because we're gonna use the same pot to toss them in just to avoid doing so many dishes. So what we're gonna do while the potatoes are boiling is we're gonna take our pan and we're gonna grease it up. Whatever fat you're using, olive oil, butter, duck fat, goose fat, you're gonna put it on the bottom just to make sure nothing sticks to the pan, because that would not be good. Don't be shy with the oil. Coat the bottom of the pan completely with oil. Remember to pay attention to what's going on with your potatoes and periodically give them a stir just to make sure everything's right. And now would be a good time to preheat your oven to 450 degrees. If you have a convection oven, then 400 degrees is fine. We're gonna check our potatoes here. Oh, so they're not quite ready yet, a little bit hard still. You wanna be able to push the fork in somewhat easily, right into the center of it. Okay, so another few minutes. Once the potatoes are roughly half done cooking, now we're gonna start to heat up our olive oil, garlic, and rosemary mixture. We're just gonna heat it at a low heat and really infuse that olive oil with a delicious rosemary and garlic flavor. That's what you want, that olive oil to take in that delicious flavor from the rosemary and from the garlic. So we're gonna put this on just about low heat, and we're gonna slowly stir it while it's cooking. Just like that. We're gonna let it cook slowly. We're gonna mix it around. That's beautiful. Now, it really doesn't matter what type of pan you use, whether you use a metal pan or whether you use a glass pan. Make sure that you use olive oil and you evenly grease up your pan, because we don't want anything sticking to the pan. And don't be afraid to use some oil. We don't need an excessive amount of oil. Just have enough so you can completely cover the bottom of the pan, because we don't want anything sticking to the pan whatsoever. Now we're gonna go ahead and check our potatoes again. You wanna just be able to push your fork in. Well, we're gonna cook them for another 5 minutes or so. Continue to monitor your delicious mixture here. Actually, I'm gonna turn it down a bit. I'm just gonna have a dash more of olive oil in there. What we're basically doing is just infusing the oil with the garlic and rosemary. Oh wow, that's absolutely delicious. Be careful not to cook your olive oil, rosemary, and garlic too long, because you don't want to burn the garlic and then it's going to end up taking away from the potatoes. So all you want to do is get the olive oil infused with the delicious rosemary and garlic flavor, and that's all we're looking for. Get that nice, beautiful golden brown color. Just the two flavors fusing together, that is what we're looking for. So our potatoes are just about ready here. You can just put the fork right in easily, and you don't want them to be too soft where they break apart. So what we're gonna do is take our potatoes, we're gonna strain them out, and we're gonna get ready to put them in the oven. All right, so we're gonna bring our potatoes over here, and we're gonna get them ready to put on the pan. Perfect, look at that. That is just beautiful right there. So the reason why we're not putting these chunks in, putting the hard stuff in, because we don't want them to burn. Now, you see our potatoes now, so what we're gonna do is toss them in here, and what we're looking for is a nice textured outside of the potato. This is the outside of the potato that's actually gonna become crispy. So then what we're gonna do is place our potatoes on our pan. So what we're looking for here is to have each potato have its own surface area on the pan, because the surface area on the pan is how it gets crispy. The pan cooking the potato, kind of like think of it as a frying pan, that's how the potato gets crispy. So that pan side down is how the potato gets crispy. So we're gonna make sure each potato has its own spot in the pan. Don't overcrowd the pan, because that would actually take away from the crispiness in the end. Once your oven's preheated to 450 degrees, now you can go ahead and put your potatoes in the oven. Now the potatoes will roughly take 30 to 40 minutes to cook, but after about 15 to 20 minutes, we're gonna pull them out, we're gonna flip all the ones that need flipping. And it's up to you how crispy you want them. The crispier, that you just leave them in longer. If you don't like them as crispy, then you can take them out earlier. Simple as that. I'm gonna take my potatoes out and we're gonna flip them now and we're gonna check them out. Once we've flipped our potatoes, then we're going to take our fork and squish each potato. What this does is increase the surface area and allows the potato to get a little more crispy. Once you've squished every potato, just a little bit, not too hard because you don't want to break it apart. Now we're going to see the top's crispy and the bottom is uncooked still. Top crispy, bottom uncooked. So what we're going to do is now put this back in the oven for about 15 to 20 more minutes. So it's been roughly another 20 minutes since I flipped the potatoes. Now they just look absolutely beautiful. Let's take a look. Wow. Both sides are nice and beautiful and crispy, and the inside is just absolutely beautiful. The inside is beautiful, nice and fluffy. If we were to use Yukon, they'd be a little bit creamier inside, but they wouldn't be as crispy. But this is great because they're nice and fluffy inside and then beautiful and crispy. These potatoes just came out absolutely fantastic. So now, the final touch that we're gonna do, just fantastic. I know we said we're gonna cut down on the dishes, but you have to do what you have to do. So we're gonna put our potatoes in this bowl. So what I'm gonna do is take my garlic and rosemary, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it over all the potatoes. Gently mix it together. You don't wanna break them apart. And what we have here is an absolutely gorgeous potatoes. Rosemary and garlic. What I will do is a final touch here, some fresh parsley and some Parmesan cheese. Wow, this is just absolutely delicious. And I'm gonna put a little bit of fresh parsley, tiny splash of that right on top, beautiful. Thick shaved Parmesan cheese, beautiful. Oh, thank you for watching the video. And remember, like the video, subscribe right down there, and leave a comment, because Emily and I, we love comments. So remember, namaste lean. The moment that you caught my eye took me right by surprise, yeah. Oh.